my kids' bikes got stolen. I knew it was their weird neighbor, he always glared at them. I took one look in his open garage, saw the bikes, and took them back. The next night, my security cameras went dead. Now my backyard looks different. My kids are 8 and 10. They're at that age where riding a bike still feels like freedom. Every afternoon after school, they'd come flying in the front door, shoes half-tied, already asking if they could ride. I'd tell them to drop their bags and helmets on first, and off they'd go. Usually just around the block, sometimes to the little park 2 streets over. We're in a quiet part of central Illinois. The kind of neighborhood where people mow their own lawns and wave as they pass each other. Not fancy, not run down. Just normal. Across the street is this guy, gray hair, thick mustache, kind of heavy. He's always outside but never says a word. Just stands in his driveway or sits on a folding chair next to his garage, watching. My daughter said he makes her nervous. My son once called him the hawk guy because he just stares like he's waiting to swoop in. I tried being polite when we first moved in. I said hello, waved, tried small talk. He never said anything back. Not even a nod. After that, I just left it alone. Last Tuesday morning, my kids were late coming in from breakfast. They'd gone out back to check on their bikes and came running in. My son looked panicked. "Dad, they're gone." I thought they were messing with me. But I went out there, and sure enough, no bikes. The lock was gone, and the chain we looped through the back gate post was hanging there, loose. Not broken. Not cut. Just undone and dropped. I walked the yard. No tire tracks. Nothing looked out of place. But those bikes were gone. That night, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Who takes 2 kids' bikes from a backyard, behind a locked gate? It didn't feel random. It felt personal. And I kept thinking about the neighbor. The one who always watches. The one who never speaks. The one who once stared at my daughter for so long she came inside crying. I took the dog out for a walk after dinner, like I always do. It was dark, and most houses had their porch lights on. I passed his place, and noticed something. His garage was cracked open. Not all the way, but enough that you could see inside if you were walking past slow. I looked. They were there. Right there, our 2 bikes, side by side, behind a rake and some junk. Same handlebars, same scuffed tires, same worn stickers my kids had put on them. I froze. Part of me thought, no way, that can't be them. But then I saw the purple handle streamers my daughter added last spring. And the red bandana my son tied around his seat post. No doubt. I went home, sat on the couch, didn't say anything. My wife noticed. "What's wrong?" "Nothing," I said. But I couldn't stop picturing those bikes, sitting in that garage like trophies. Next day, around 12:30 p.m., I watched him leave in his truck. Same time he always goes out. I waited a few minutes, grabbed a hoodie, walked across the street, and lifted that garage door. My hands were shaking, but I kept my face still, just in case any cameras were watching. I grabbed the bikes and rolled them home, fast and quiet. It felt like the right thing. I wasn't stealing, I was taking back what was mine. What my kids loved. They were so happy when they saw the bikes. My daughter hugged hers. My son kept saying, "Where were they? Did the police find them?" I lied. I told them someone dumped them in a ditch. I didn't want them scared. That night, I installed 3 new security cameras. One over the front door, one aimed at the driveway, one pointed directly at the backyard. I didn't tell anyone except my wife. Next night, around 2:30 in the morning, I got a weird feeling. I checked the app for the cameras. All 3 had gone offline at the same time, 2:27 a.m. Not disconnected, just frozen. No alerts. No sounds. Just nothing. I went outside first thing in the morning. Everything looked okay at first. But then I noticed little things. The backyard gate was still shut, but the latch had fresh scratches on it. Like someone had tried opening it with something metal. One of the patio chairs had been moved. Not far. Just turned, slightly. Facing a different direction. Like someone sat there, watching the house. The kids chalked drawings on the back patio, half smudged. Not from rain. It hadn't rained. It looked like someone had stepped on them and tried to wipe it away. I checked the shed. Locked, like I left it. But when I opened it, something caught my eye. On the top shelf was a small flashlight, cheap, black, old. I didn't recognize it. I asked my wife. She said it wasn't hers. The kids had never seen it before either. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined someone standing in our yard. Not trying to steal anything this time, just watching. Now, when I stand at the back window at night, sometimes I see a small flash, just a flicker of light, moving across the grass. Like someone testing something. And then it's gone. I haven't told the kids. Not yet. I don't want them afraid of the yard. But something is happening. And I don't think it's over. A few days passed with nothing major. The camera stayed on. The yard looked untouched. But I didn't relax. I knew he knew. I was just waiting for his next move. Then Friday afternoon, around 5, I noticed the truck was back in his driveway. I'd seen it before, dark green, older model Chevy, missing a front hubcap. This time, there was something new. In the back bed of the truck was a large wooden crate. Heavy. He and someone else, another man I'd never seen, were unloading it into the garage. They didn't talk much. Just grunted, shoved it into place. Then they shut the garage door. No lights came on inside. Nothing. Later that night, I was sitting on the back porch. Just watching. My wife had gone to bed. Kids were inside, watching a movie. I kept staring across the street. And I saw something strange. Not from his house, but the woods behind ours. A faint orange glow, low to the ground. It didn't flicker like a fire. It pulsed. Soft. Then gone. A minute later, it came back. Closer. I went inside, grabbed the flashlight, and stepped into the yard. I didn't want to go far, just to the fence line. I looked toward the trees. Nothing. But when I turned back to the house, something caught my eye. A small metal object, sitting on the grass near the back door. It hadn't been there earlier. I picked it up. It was a screw. Rusted, slightly bent. The kind you'd use for securing a hinge or a latch. Not one of ours. Not from our shed. Not from anything I could recognize. Now I was starting to feel sick. I went back inside, locked the doors, and sat by the back window for hours. Nothing else happened. Next morning, I walked the yard again. This time I noticed something else. Our garden hose had been unraveled, stretched halfway across the lawn, like someone had dragged it and then left it. My wife swore she hadn't touched it. The kids said the same. And then Sunday night, another camera went out. Just one this time. The backyard camera. Went black at 3:11 a.m. The other stayed on. I watched the playback leading up to it. At 3:09, there was a motion alert. And for 2 seconds, you could see a figure. Barely visible, crouched near the edge of the yard, behind our trash bins. No face. Just a body, crouched low. Then the screen cut. I called the police this time. An officer came out the next morning. I showed him the footage. He asked if anything was taken. No, I said. But something's off. This isn't random. This guy across the street, he had our bikes. Now this. The officer wrote everything down. Said they'd keep an eye out. But without real damage or a name, there wasn't much they could do. That same night, something else changed. Our dog, a mutt, normally quiet, went crazy around 4 a.m. barking, growling at the back door. I ran out of bed, turned on the lights. Nothing was there. But when I opened the door, the dog bolted out like he was chasing something. I followed, barefoot, heart pounding. He stopped at the fence. Growled low. Wouldn't move. I looked around. Still nothing. But the next morning, there were boot prints in the dirt. Not mine. Not my wife's. Fresh. Deep. Leading away from the fence, toward the woods. That same day, my daughter came into the kitchen, holding something in her hand. "Daddy, what's this?" It was a note. Folded tight. Found under her bike seat. Inside, in shaky handwriting, it said, "You should have left them where they were." I froze when I read that note. My wife saw it too. She didn't say anything right away, just sat down at the table and stared at the handwriting. I asked my daughter again where she found it. "It was under my seat. It was folded and tucked in that little spot where the bar curves," she said. I didn't read it. I thought it was trash. I called the police again. Same officer came out. He looked at the note, took it with him. Said he'd file it, but unless someone got hurt or we had video, there wasn't much to go on. I could tell he didn't take it seriously. Maybe he thought it was a prank. Maybe he just didn't care. But I knew what it was. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room with the lights off, watching the windows. I'd put new batteries in all the cameras. I'd added a motion light to the back fence. Still didn't feel like enough. Around 3:20 a.m., the backyard camera pinged me. Motion detected. I opened the feed. It was nothing at first. Just the yard, the trees in the back swaying a little in the breeze. Then I saw it. Just for a second. A shape. On the far right of the screen. Right outside the range of the motion light. It didn't move like a person, it was slower, almost like someone crouching, staying low. Then it vanished behind the shed. I grabbed a flashlight and went outside. Quiet. I didn't even put on shoes. I didn't hear anything. I moved slow, around the side of the house. When I turned the corner by the shed, I stopped dead. There was a hole in the fence. About waist high. Looked like someone had pried the boards apart from the outside. They hadn't broken, it was careful, methodical. They'd removed 2 full panels and set them behind the bushes. And next to the hole, right on the ground, was another note. This one wasn't folded. It was pinned under a rock, like they wanted to make sure I found it. "You took from me. Now I watch." No name. Just that. I fixed the fence that morning. Nailed the boards back. Put in 2 extra screws. Then I installed a trail cam in the tree behind the shed. The kind hunters use, motion-activated, infrared. It's not connected to Wi-Fi, so it can't be shut down remotely. I didn't tell anyone I put it up. Not even my wife. That same day, I took a walk past his house. His garage was closed. But I noticed something new in the window, curtains. He'd never had curtains before. And they weren't just pulled shut. They were taped down at the sides, like he didn't want anyone peeking in. Later that night, I was out back again, watching from the porch. My phone buzzed. The trail cam had tripped. I waited till morning to check it. There were 6 new photos. The first 2 were blurry, probably animals. But the third showed a man, standing at the back fence. Just standing there. Arms at his sides. He wasn't trying to come in this time. Just watching. The timestamp said 3:17 a.m. The next photo showed him stepping closer, still outside the yard, but now right at the corner post. You couldn't see his face clearly. But I recognized the shape of his coat. That old green army-style jacket he always wears. The one with the torn sleeve. It was him. Then came the last photo. Nothing in it. Just the yard, quiet, empty. But in the center of the frame, something had been placed. A doll. One of those cheap, plastic baby dolls. Sitting upright in the grass, facing the camera. I don't know where the doll came from. It wasn't ours. My kids are too old for dolls like that. And we don't keep toys outside. It was dirty. One arm bent the wrong way, the face scraped, like it had been dragged. I went out right after I saw the picture and found it exactly where the trail cam showed, sitting in the middle of the yard, legs stretched out, head tilted. It had a small note taped to its back. She plays outside alone too much. That one hit me harder than the rest. It was the first time he mentioned one of the kids directly. It wasn't vague anymore. It was a threat. I didn't show my daughter. I threw the doll in a bag and locked it in the shed. Called the police again. The same officer came. I could tell he didn't want to be here. I showed him the photos, the note. He sighed. I'll write it up. But it's still not enough to charge anyone. Just keep your cameras running and make sure your locks are good. That was it. He left. I told my wife everything that night. She wanted to take the kids and stay with her sister for a while. I didn't want that, didn't want him to feel like he'd won, but I agreed. It wasn't worth the risk anymore. So the next morning, I packed up the kids and my wife and drove them out to her sister's house 2 towns over. I came back alone. The house felt different right away. Quieter. Still, but not peaceful. Like it was waiting for something. That night, I sat in the kitchen with the lights off, just listening. No sounds. Nothing. Until about 2:45 a.m. There was a knock. Not on the front door. On the glass sliding door in the kitchen. 3 knocks. Slow. Measured. I froze. I waited a few seconds, then stood up and reached for the flashlight. I moved to the side of the door and looked out through the curtain. No one. I opened the trail cam app. The camera had caught a new photo, taken at 2:43 a.m. It showed a figure, standing at the edge of the patio, arm outstretched. Knocking. But this time, it wasn't the man from before. It was someone smaller. Leaner. Could have been a teenager or even a woman. The hood made it hard to tell. In the photo, the figure is turned toward the door. But there's something else. A second figure, barely visible, standing back near the tree line. Watching. It wasn't just him anymore. This was something bigger. I sat down at the table, my hands shaking. I knew they were testing me. Seeing if I'd run. Seeing what I'd do next. I looked over at the door again, and noticed something on the glass. Smudges. From fingers. Small ones. Too small to be his. I still don't know how many of them there are. Or what they want. But every night now, I check the locks twice, sit in the dark, and listen for that knock. And every time I hear it, I wonder if I should have just left the bike.